California. No, I'm not going to sing.
Come on.
I'm not going to
Come
sing.
on, Alex.
As badly as I want to, I'll save our viewers.
Maybe before it's all said and done.
Tom Glarder, Alex Steck, welcome into the pre-match meeting. We are in Santa Monica, California, and boy, is it beautiful.
Yes, we are. Couldn't ask for anything better. Sunshine, palm trees, and a big soccer match tonight for the orange and blue. What else can you ask for, Alex?
Not much. As soon as we got here, I ran to the beach and stuck my feet in the sand.
I saw that. Yes, I've stuffed my face the entire time. I've had great pasta. I've had eggs on the beach. Enjoying the cool ocean breeze here just south of Malibu, and what a place to be for FC Cincinnati. Major League Soccer, of course, has two clubs out here in LA, and FC Cincinnati will play the first of those two this season tonight against LAFC, and who just so happens to be the hottest team in Major League Soccer at this point.
That's right. I do want to ask you, before we dive into the game and get very serious,
Yes.
What is your favorite song about California?
Oh, that's an easy one. Let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. A state that's untouchable, like Elliot Ness. California Love, you got to go Tupac with
Classic.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
My man Kevin McCloskey, I think, has been listening to Tupac, Dre, and
Wow.
Snoop Dogg
All right,
on
Kev.
loop since we took off from CVG on Thursday
It's a long
till now.
flight.
Yeah, exactly. So he's gone through pretty much all of their albums, but why not? California Love, I'm considerably older than you. So high school, that was a very prominent song, and many high school nights driving around listening to California Love, and I'm loving being in California.
Nice. I've been listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fair.
just feeling it.
A little different.
All
That's
right.
fine.
But like you mentioned, hottest team right now in MLS,
Yes.
LAFC. FC Cincinnati facing them at Bank of California Stadium. LAFC are undefeated, and they've won every match they've played at home. They've got two of the best attacking players and multiple attacking players on their roster that have shown really, really well for them. And you have FC Cincinnati, who are looking to get another result on the road.
Yeah, no doubt. And FC Cincinnati's done well in the first 6 matches, 2-2-2. And obviously, Alcoch wishes it was a little bit better than that. Wish they got that win last week, but a draw against Sporting Kansas City, nothing to be ashamed of back at Nibbers Stadium. And they come out, and tonight they have a very big challenge. Bob Bradley's team is playing great. They've only lost once in a year plus of playing at Bank of California Stadium. One loss there.
Amazing.
They're a club that scores in bunches, is very, very dangerous, and I'm excited to see what they look like tonight. I think they will be organized, and when they are on the attack, they are very dangerous. But FC Cincinnati is a club that has come together over these first 6 weeks of the Major League Soccer season, and certainly will look to improve upon their performance last week and shock some folks, because there's no question the Orange and Blue go in as the underdog, but nothing wrong with that.
We'll talk about those keys to success coming up, and FC Cincinnati coming off that home match, and they will return back home on Friday to host Real Salt Lake. It's their Earth Day match. They're going to be wearing those special edition parlay kits, Greener Goals Week of Service initiative through MLS Works. Stay tuned. You guys need to come to that match on Friday.
Pandemonium in the Queen City.
FC Cincinnati,
Cruz back heel. 2-0 Cincinnati.
Real Salt Lake.
Moore comes in here for Bruce. It's a chance for Arizona.
FC Cincinnati returns home Friday, April 19th at 7:30 against Real Salt Lake. For tickets starting at $15, visit fccincinnati.com or call 513-977-5425.
Before FC Cincinnati return home to host Real Salt Lake in that match tonight, they are facing LAFC, one of the hottest teams in MLS, and it's a battle of the newest franchises in MLS.
Yeah, no question. I came out here last year to scout out Bank of California Stadium in their inaugural season last August, and different paths to Major League Soccer for these two clubs. LAFC obviously did not have a USL team for a couple years leading up. Unlike some clubs in Major League Soccer, Portland had years and years and years of experience before they joined Major League Soccer. FC Cincinnati obviously had 3 years in the USL, but LAFC really built their fan base from nothing.
Right.
built this beautiful Bank of California stadium. They now have their training facility that has come online, and star-studded ownership for this group. Of course, Will Ferrell is the most prominent owner. Haven't heard yet
Yes.
whether or not he will be in the house tonight, but Mia Hamm, Magic Johnson, of course, and plenty of others. So they've gone out, put together this wildly star-studded cast of owners and wildly star-studded host of players as well.
What do you think about the way that they've created this team? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
LAFC had the longest amount of time as an expansion team from the time that they announced they would be joining MLS and their first regular season match, whereas SC Cincinnati had the
Least.
shortest amount of time.
Yeah, obviously that's a huge advantage here in just a gigantic market that is Los Angeles. They have a great Hispanic community, and they've certainly bought into the team. And it's interesting because, Los Angeles already had a team. LA Galaxy have great history. They've won MLS Cup. They're a storied franchise in this league that have had some of the biggest names globally, Beckham and Zlatan,
Right.
play for them. So, you wonder going in, how will Los Angeles handle another Major League Soccer team? They have 2 NBA teams, they have a couple NFL teams, a couple Major League Baseball teams. Well, now they have a couple Major League Soccer teams, and they've done great. And I think this club certainly has had a great roadmap to success. They did very well last year in their first year in the league, and they've gone out and made the right moves and brought in the right players to be successful. And then, the stadium and the fans will see it tonight is just spectacular. So Bank of California is as good as it gets, and certainly is an example that I think clubs across the league look at for what they should try to do, whether they're building a new stadium or getting a stadium for the first time like FC Cincinnati.
The main name to talk about is their first designated player that they brought in, Carlos Vela. Unbelievable. He and Diego Rossi are leading MLS in goals, 7 and 6. And what they've produced on the field together, they play off of each other. It's very impressive.
It is, and they're truly a dynamic duo. That's how we're going to open the broadcast tonight, is talking about those two. So if you're tuning in tonight at 10:30, we're going to talk about Diego Rossi and Carlos Vela, and Vela's a Mexican national. I mean, extensive Mexican national team experience. That speaks for itself. But he's come here, and I watched a lot of film this week leading up to the game, and it almost feels like they're just toying with goalkeepers at times. That they can pick their spot and say, you can't reach it, and I'm going to put it there. And that's what they do. And that's why they have 7 and 6 goals. And that's why this offense is so explosive for Los Angeles. And it's great for the league, right? It's a nightmare if you're trying to slow them down and defend them, but it's great for Major League Soccer to have a dynamic duo like that.
Vela leading MLS in all these attacking categories, goals, assists, shots, and shots on goal. How do the FC Cincinnati defense, their back line, how do they slow these guys down?
I think they have to be smart, and they have to, obviously take the calculated risks, but be very smart about when they are taking risks in defense. Because if you make a mistake, these two are going to take advantage of it. If they don't, somebody else is going to jump in there. If Christian Ramirez is playing, if Dio is playing, they have different weapons who can hurt you as well if those two are not. But when you make a mistake, they're almost always going to create a really good scoring opportunity. So it's either going to make your goalkeeper uncomfortable, or it's going to give them a lead with a goal. So I think you have to be compact. You can't just sit back the whole game and let them pick you apart. But you have to, like I said, be smart is really the easiest way to put it, and just make sure that you know your assignments and that you don't overblow those mistakes, because when you do, they're going to take advantage of them.
Another one of those attacking pieces I really admire is watching him play, Latif Blessing.
Yeah.
They picked him up in the expansion draft. He was a great selection. He's very dynamic for them up top as well. You look on the other side of the field, they've gone 235 minutes without conceding a goal. How do you think FC Cincinnati finds the back of the net on the road?
Well, I think Darren Maddox has some confidence now. I think he came into the season with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, had that great first half of the season last year, and then once Wayne Rooney showed up, didn't get as many opportunities in DC. So he came into the season wanting to prove something. Right. And I think Darren got that first goal. That's a big monkey off his back, and 8 different players have scored. We're waiting to see who gets that magic second goal for the orange and blue. Will that be tonight in the match? So I think continuing to feed the ball to Darren Maddox, the success of the guys behind him, no matter who Allen has started back there. When you talk about Roland Lamah and Kenny Safe and Kekuta Mane and Alan Cruz, and really there's only 3 spots for the 4 of them who starts there, but those guys set the table for Darren, and they also set up opportunities for themselves, and then getting those long balls in from the defensive midfielders is big. So I think getting the ball to Darren Maddox, though, is the number one key for FC Cincinnati offensively.
We're going to talk a little bit more about those keys to success when we come back. Welcome back into the pre-match meeting. I'm Alex Steck, Tom Glarder. We're talking about FC Cincinnati's attacking options. How does Alan Koch manage that when he has limited options right now? You have Fernando Adi, who's unavailable, Kikuta Mane, Roland Lamah, Manuel Ledesma, all questionable for this match.
Yeah, I think it's the big question is the guys behind Darren Maddox, right? I think Darren has established himself as a striker. At this point, is the most natural 9 for the club. Although Manuel Ledesma in the game, when there was not a natural 9, I thought did very well. But it gives him a lot of options, like we talked about before the break, as to what he does behind them. You know, Kenny Safe had been on the wing for most of his minutes in orange and blue before that match against Sporting KC. I thought he was dynamic in that role at the 10. So I think he'll continue to get some looks potentially in that opportunity. If he's on the wing, he does well. Alan Cruz has set up some opportunities out from the wing. Kikuta Mane's flying all over the place. When he's out there, we had to see him come on for Roland Lamah. So I think I'm excited to see how the lineup comes together tonight, because he has so many options there behind the striker. The striker is really where I think it's clear cut, and then it's those midfielders that are attacking behind the striker where it's the toughest decision. And you know how Alan is. He's very analytical. He looks at how training goes all week long, and then he makes a decision as to who will start there. And we'll see here tonight in a few hours as to what that decision is.
Where do you like seeing Kenny Safe play? He made a second start. He has 2 assists, and as you mentioned, he was in that number 10 role. I feel like he's very successful when he has the space to kind of drift between the lines. He's good at linking the lines, and I think he just needs to get the ball in the right place at the right time.
I was going to say, I like seeing him on the field for FC Cincinnati.
Yes.
You know, either way, right? Because he was on the wing his first few appearances, and he affected every game that he came into early on. But then they gave him that different look at the 10 last time out against Sporting, and he did very well there. So I think that's the beauty of it, is that he's versatile, and that he can show Alan that he can play inside. But you're right, the way that he drifted and the way he worked when he had space, I think we saw him shine a little bit. And for all the talk about the club not having a 10, I think they have a couple options at the 10. Maybe they don't have one who's a true and blue 10, but whether it's been Kikuta, who's done very well there, or Kenny Safe, I think Alan Koch has decisions to make, like I said, and has good options at that position where people maybe 6 weeks ago didn't think there was one.
21 different players have seen the field for FC Cincinnati so far this year. They've used 5 different starting lineups. Who's your money on who's going to score their first, the first to second,
the first repeat score?
Yes.
We had this conversation 6 weeks ago about the first to score goal. I think we both whiffed on that as Leo ended up with the prize first goal in franchise history in Major League Soccer. You know, I think if you want to know who my money is on, I think the safe bet is Darren Maddox, because I think, like I said, he'll build upon that confidence of that penalty kick goal last week. But if he said, let's get back to scoring goals and run a play, right? Didn't do it against Philadelphia, didn't have one last week against Sporting. But I think, if you wanted to know who the money is on, you would go with Darren Maddox. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Kenny Safe get a crack at it either.
Okay, the logical choice. I like it. Well, Roland Lamah was my first choice for the first goal. He got the second one, but he has experience scoring against LAFC.
That's
he
right.
Had the game winner
last year in June. Yeah,
exactly.
That's not a bad choice either. And let's not discount someone like Kendall Waston, right?
That's right.
Because Kendall's going to get his looks on those set pieces, so he'll get forward on corner kicks or free kicks inside of the final third, and you know, he's certainly in form right now, I think. What a great pickup he has proven to be for FC Cincinnati, both on and off the pitch. So don't discount Kendall Waston as maybe being the guy who had the first MLS goal at Nippert Stadium. Maybe he'll be the first to tally his second in orange and blue.
I'd like to see that. It's nice to see the captain back on the field. He and Nick Hagland have been a great center-back pairing. Nick Hagland obviously playing every minute of every match so far this season. He's leading the league in defensive stats.
I know, and what a near moment last week at Nippert Stadium. He thought he had his first back in his hometown, and he was offside. It was clearly the right call that the flag went up, but with that boy, would that have not been a special moment? He's going to get one at home. There's no question that is coming. But yeah, it's been fun to see, right? Because Nick had a great run in Toronto. He was able to hoist a MLS Cup in Toronto. I mean, we know because we're around him a lot, and I think people who aren't around him a lot can see in any of the interviews he does or anything he puts on social media. He is so excited to be back in Cincinnati, to be home and wearing that FC Cincinnati crest, right? And I think that is so cool, and it's just great. I think it's contagious to his teammates because they see how much he loves playing in Cincinnati, and I think these guys really love being there with him.
Nick has such an infectious personality. He's a great locker room guy. He's unbelievable to be around. And then you look at the other partnership between Leo Bertone, Victor Ulloa. We could talk about these guys every single week, but how consistent they've been. Victor Ulloa leading the team with the highest passing accuracy. Leo still has the most shots on the team, but how consistent these guys have been and how they can play a role tonight.
Well, and remember, three months ago, they never played together. Yeah. And now they have that great partnership in the defensive midfield, and I think it's impressive. I think it's a testament to the coaching staff to getting those two guys ready to play alongside each other. And again, it goes back to where we started this whole conversation, Rossi and Vela. Like, you have to find ways to keep them off the ball, to not give them those good looks where they're toying with your goalkeeper and trying to sneak it in. And that partnership and the defensive midfielders are going to continue to be so important for Alan Koch in this match tonight to make sure that those looks aren't there.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to be careful of the counterattack, at least starting wide, building up from the back, and looking to counter against FC Cincinnati. And you talked about toying with the goalkeeper. Spencer, Richie, and TT. Now, TT made the trip.
Yeah.
He's available for selection. He's in the 19.
Yeah, that's great. It's great to see TT back. I know it's been frustrating for him since that Seattle match. The match was frustrating, and then he hasn't been on the field ever since. Like, what's the first thing you want to do after you have a bad match as a goalkeeper is get back out there and erase that memory. And TT hasn't gotten that opportunity yet. Great to see that his health has allowed him to be on this trip, and great to see how Spencer has stepped up. Right, Spencer's done very well stepping in and taking over that number one role while TT has been out. And he made a mistake last week. He was the first to admit it afterwards and step up and say, look, I blew it. And Greg Garza was the first to get his back and say, no, you didn't blow it. We all blew it, right? And sure, they both could have made different decisions there. Maybe the game plays out differently, but that's not how life works. We all make missteps along the way, and he made a misstep, and you know what? He's going to learn from it and be a better goalkeeper for it. And I thought it was awesome to see, like, Greg, again, a testament to Greg Garza, but the way that he stepped up was like, hey, man, this isn't on you. This is on all of us. And sure, could he have played that ball differently? Absolutely. But he owned it, and he said, let's carry on. And I think it's very awesome to see the way the Spencer's played this season so far.
Well, we will see them carry on tonight. Bank of California Stadium, FC Cincinnati taking on LAFC, the undefeated team, top in the Supporters Shield right now. Kickoff is set for 7:30 local, 10:30 in Cincinnati, and you can tune in for Tom Glarder, Kevin McCloskey, Lindsey Patterson on Star 64. You can also stream the match on Flow FC locally and listen to it on the radio. I'm Alex Steck, Tom Glarder. Thank you very much. Thanks to our producers, editors. Pretty much they do everything behind the scenes.
Jack
Matt
of all
Schisler,
trades, yeah.
Brennan Warner. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you tonight.